this lesson, I'm going to show you how to read CSV files to your Python environment, so you can do some editing manipulation for the data and try to get some insight from your data. So this is as an example, a small table, but it can be even larger table, like with different columns and maybe hundreds of thousands of columns and millions of rows. But this one, just for demonstration, just a small one. So you make sure that it's in the same directory or the same folder. We have a folder example in the desktop. Also, we have the saved notebook. It should be all in the same folder. I'll show you how you can open it. So you go into the desktop after you open your Anaconda and Jupyter notebook, and you go to desktop. We are here in the desktop, and you go to the example. You open your notebook. So before we dive deep into finding the folder, let me show you a package called Panda. Pandas it's a package. It can do a lot of data manipulation. It's as if like it's a package that it has codes as if like you just take it from the shelf and you just put it. So you don't need to code everything manually. Let's go through it and see how we can import it. So import pandas, and you give it abbreviation because within the code you try to make your things that shorter and also self-explanatory, just to make it neater and easy to follow. So usually most of the very old Python users, they keep using PD as a pandas. And if we take for an example, a small example, like we have a dictionary, we have name, and it has values, which is Alice, Bob, and we have age, don't forget a single quote, and we have 30, 35. So that is a dictionary, a normal dictionary. If you print it, it will be sorry, I forget the equal sign. If you print it, you will get just a normal dictionary, which maybe you can understand it, but if you give it to a normal person, maybe he will not understand. She will not understand. So we need to transfer it to a table. The table that you can transfer it to table by doing a lot of manual coding, but as I said, Pandas, it helps you in that, and this is the way we use it. There is something called data frame. So to use a data frame, you reassign the variable again because you want to change this. We want to change it. You reassign the variable again, and you call your package, and you call the data frame from the package, and you want to apply it to the data. So let's see what's the new input we will have. So everything from here applied to this, and this will give you the final result, which is a nice table. And also it added for you the index, but sometimes if you don't want you want something else to be as an index, that's even possible. So just for demonstration, this shows you the index because Python, it counts from 0 and 1, so you need to keep this in mind as well. You can use print, but print doesn't look good. It doesn't give you a table, a good neat table. So it's better to use data, and you get it in output cell, so you can get it in this shape. So let's back to our file. So how we can get our folder within this environment, so we can do another calculation or extract some insight from it. So with the manual way, usually one of the ways to be used is to open employees.csv. You open it as a file, as if like you assign it to a file variable, and you want to say for line, because we have lines in the file. So basically, same as you say, same as you type it for line in a file. So you say, for example, print each line. So it will keep going into the for loop to print for you each line. And you can do different operations. You can extract you can eliminate you minimize the spaces, you can extra spaces, you can take off the commas, and you can make it more neater, or even add a table, but this code will be longer. That's why we have in the pandas, we have everything inside it. So just once you call it, everything will be applied to it automatically, like this one. So let's see how we can do this with the panda. So you come here, you reassign it to the same variable again. Let's pick a variable name. Let's use the same variable name because we keep changing here. Data. So we called the package, and we called what we want to use from this package. We want it to read the CSV folder, which is called employees.csv. Okay, and you come in here and you print data, and this is how you get it. See, just one line or two line codes, instead of putting all these 3 lines in, or even more, just to transform it from this shape to this shape. So this is how you use Panda to get the folder. So if you notice, we have the index here. You can change the column of the index in several ways. One of the ways is within the same line, just add comma, and you say index column equal name. And notice here what will happen after we run this code. You see now the index is a name, and the normal columns, it becomes title, job title, phone, and using position. Also you can change these, which we show later. So after we change the index, let's do some manipulation within the column to see how we can extract inside, how we can go around, how we can get more information. For example, if you want to get only the information for the job title, job title, so you get the job titles, and you get the index, of course, because you have to get the index with the information you have. Here you've got the name is the job title, because that's what it tells you, that's what you asked for, is job title, and the type is object. Object means string, like the D type, sometimes it's object, sometimes which is string, sometimes it's integer or flow, and so on. In this one, if you notice, that is a string, that's why you get here an object. Sometimes you get zero also, it's a string. Let's say we try to get something else, df, let's get the phone numbers. See, if we get the phone, we get the column here, the names, and we get the numbers. But notice the type here, despite we have some numbers here, but we have the dash and we have none. None means like an empty cell. So this just to tell you that there is no value here. That's why we get the whole series here. Type, it's object. But if it's only numbers, it will be an integer. Let's try to see if we can get an integer. Let's get the years in position. Let's say df years in position. See, you get here an integer and the name of the column, and that is your column and the index. You can get 2 columns at the same time. For example, we have here individually, what we can do is we can say df you open two square brackets, because within square bracket, because this one, it takes one argument. One argument, it can be within the list. So you give it a list of columns. You come here, you take the first column. I'm doing it in a lazy way, just copy paste instead of typing it all. But you can type it, of course, as long as everything here is spelled correctly to get it right. Once you put an extra columns, because it's data frame, and data frame we already transfer it here into pandas within this shape, we get it in this shape now. So now you're retrieving the columns that you just required. Also, but notice here we haven't changed the table yet, because if you say df, still we get the same table. But if you say df equal, you're gonna change everything. Like for example, see df, and if you came here and you say df, you just get, basically you change the main information, but we don't want that. We are just reading now. So here, oh, so you come from the beginning just to return it back as it is. So no. Sometimes when you feel like it's not doing what it's supposed to do, just come from the beginning, try to make sure everything it's running smoothly, and you restart everything as if like you're restarting a computer. See, now everything being restarted. And this one, job title, why getting this error, df, it should be that let's leave it df. Let's change everything to df, data frame, because it's a convention also that they use df as a variable name. Oh, sorry. You have to run it first. Let's say that item in here. It's good. I want to show you this troubleshooting as well, just in case you came in the same obstacles, so you know how I go around it, and hope you find a better way even to do it faster. So that's an integer. I will not assign this time a variable. I will not assign it, just leave it as it is. But if you bring back the original variable, still you have the original information, so nothing being changed. So be sure what you want from it, so you can so you know when you want to change and when you don't want to change. So you can also, instead of just getting, let's say if you have thousands of columns and you just want to drop some columns, instead of you keep typing and calling everything, and you just want to drop maybe 1 or 2 columns. So same as df, and you can say drop, because it's in the panda columns. Let's say we want to drop the years in position. We want to drop this one, and let's say let's drop something else, salary. So basically we want to drop these 2 columns, and we just get these, and also you get these as the main column, because that's your index. Let's run it. So this is how you get the columns that you called. As I said, it's still non-muted or not changed. Everything as it is, the original table, still we have it. It's just all for demonstration. For example, you want to say some certain columns, you want to say some certain information, you filter some things. This is the best way. So let's move on to some analysis here. Let's say if you want to get some information about this table, so there is a function called describe. You multiply in the df, so you want to describe the table you have. What I mean by describe is, I'm sorry, describe. So if you notice here, we are describing these two columns, and it says the count, like how many rows. You say the salary here is 4 because we have 1 is not available. Years in position. Basically, it gives you a numerical description for the numerical columns, which is the float and the integer. You don't need description for this because it's self-explanatory, because it's a job title, it's a string, you can read it, and the phone numbers is the phone numbers. There is no maximum phone numbers and minimum phone numbers. So for these numerical values, it retrieves it for you and it gives you an analysis, the count, the number of the rows, and the mean values, and standard deviation, how far it's from the original value, and minimum and the quartile, the 25%, 50, and 75, and the max. So these are the information about the table. So once we get these information, let's say if we wanna now to rename the tables names, because here if you see we have a job title, we have phone, we have years in position, we have salary. Let's say if you want to change this to phone number or change this to compensation, how we can do it. So again, you bring your table back and you put a same as drop. If you remember, you say rename, I'm sure you guessed it, and you specify your columns, same as drop again, and equal. But here in this time you open a dictionary because you need the key and value element. So in the key you put your old name, and the new name you put it in a value. So for example, you say we want to change phone to phone number. So you come in here, you say phone, you want to change it to phone number, comma. If you want to add another column, so let's say salary, you have to type it as it shows in your table. It should be exactly the same. It's sensitive case, so if it's capital, if it's uppercase, capital, uppercase, or lowercase, you need to take this in consideration. Compensation. Okay. Put your sign, and let's run this and see. Oh, okay. Single quote. Okay, so the phone number and a comma and the salary and a comma, and you close your dictionary. Let's say in place. In place, it's like you want to change the original table. It's similar to reassigning values. So in place equal true. So this is what you get it, because when we called the table here, it's changed here, but it didn't get stored in the main table. So that's why when we say in place, or if we say df reassigning the values, that when you're gonna be able to see it. So let's keep this one in place now. It means it's like you replace it. So that's how you rename it. Okay. Also, there is something useful that you can sort the elements within the table. So let's bring this same table with the same names here, and let's sort it. Let's sort the value. Again, that's values that's within the Panda package. We want to sort the job titles, for example, because it's string, so it will take it alphabetically. Job title in place equal true. So in place again true, because we are not using the assigning variable, but let's use it here this time just to show, to have some variety, so you can pick, but you can just use one way and keep using it in your old code. So we reassign the variable and you come in here, you see, so it's descending, it's I mean ascending, ascending in ascending order, so E, F, M, P, L. So but if you want to put it in reverse, descending, so you come in here, you put comma in this line and you say ascending equal false, and you press enter and see how it will reverse back. So this is how you sort out the columns, and you can sort out based on numbers, based on years, based on whatever you like in here. But if you want to sort the index, you can't just use sort values, because these are values, but this column is the index. So you come in here, you say df.index. Oh, apology. You come here, sort, because we sorted the values. Now we want to sort the index. You come in here, sort index again. In place, just to change the original table we have true, and you want to send ascending or descending. If you want to do it descending, we say ascending, because the default is ascending from the small to the biggest. But if you want to do it from the biggest to smallest, you have to make sure the default is false. So ascending is default equal false. Oh, false. In place, yes, we will change it. So we just type. Let's see here. It's alphabetically has been arranged. So let's say now if you want to select specific rows, how to select specific rows and view it and do some other operation here. So you can select rows within the values within the index, or you can select it within the index position, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see the values first. So df dot, there's something called location, and you open square bracket and Bob. That's based on information from the based on name. Basically, you want to Bob, you want to get his information. So you get his job title, his phone number, his position, his compensation, and you will get whose name and what type, and its object. That is if you use location, it's log. That's a short in Python. There is something else. If you want to use the index, use the same log, but you add I at the beginning, I location, and you put, let's say, 3. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3 Bob, and you get Bob again. If you want df.I location, let's say 1, so 0, 1, we should get down now. We got down, and he's down information now. Okay. Let's say if you want to get more than one row or more than one information, how we can get it. So I don't know, guys, if you remember the slice and dice that we used to use in while we manipulating the data. So you bring the table, you say I location if you want to slice based on index number. So we can enter our 2 arguments. The first argument, it's where it should start and it will be included. The second argument, where it should be end, but it will not, but the values it will not be included. So always, if you want to include the last value you want, you have to add 1. So let's say we want from 0, 1, 2, we want Carol till Bob. So 0, 1, 2, we put from 2, let's put this one first, 2, and we want Bob 0, 1, 2, 3. If we put 3, we will not get him. That's what I mean. So if you put 3, just get Carol. Always you add 1, which is Alice. Get Bob and Carol. What if you want to get Alice? What I should do then? So you just come in here and you leave it empty. So basically I want it from 2 and the rest. So this is how you get some of the rows, not everything. Also, there is something handy after you do the sorting and everything. You want to do the rename and everything. There is 2 functions within Panda called head and tail. Head, basically you take the first things in the table. For example, you say df.head, you want the first 2 things, or you want the first 3 things. So that's for head. You want head, or you can get the tail. Similar, you get the lowest, so you want to get the last one, or you want to get the last 2. And yeah, this is how you get the first of the, for example, if you sort everything descending from the largest to the lowest, and inside you want the largest thing, so you can get the head, the first 2 or first 3 or something like that, or the lowest, or vice versa. Also, there is something called sample. Sample, it's random. It just give you a sample from the table to get sample from. For example, let's say run here, it give you Aaron and Carol, but let's say if you run it again, Bob and Carol, let's say if we run it again, Dan and Alice. So it's impure function, so it keeps giving you different values. Yeah, I mentioned impure function here because if you have something and it keep changing in the output, that's impure. The pure, for example, if you put 1 plus 1, a equal 1 plus 1, you want to print a, this is a very easy definition, equal to, that is pure function, because if you keep try to get something else, it still will give you 2, because it will not do anything else. It just give you what it tells it to do. But in pure function, it keep changing, it keep give you different values, or provide you with different other things other than what you specify. Hope this will be helpful, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.